All right, we're rolling. Freedom Phil here, live from the wasteland. Yeah, what am I talking about? I'm gonna go over retirement by 30, as I've done many times, but I'm just gonna make it his own little separate video. And the reason is, I think a lot of you are fucking retarded, and common sense is so uncommon these days, and most of you would still screw this up. You guys are like people blaming the crack epidemic on the CIA versus the motherfuckers putting the pipes to their lips. You people are common-born filth. But all the same, I am a benevolent individual. And I share this information because, frankly, there's a handful of you that can pull your head out of your ass and make it happen. Yeah, this is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it. I always turn up the video speed. Why do I say that? Because you can watch videos at a faster speed. Why wouldn't you? When I upload this, if I choose to upload this, watch it at 1.75. And then, now, as always, this is not a channel for children. Although, this is one of those topics where kids really should learn this type of shit when they're young. Because, frankly, it's better for them. But some kid will regurgitate something I said, and their parents will get all mad. Oh my God, censor this, censor that. Now, don't censor me. How about you just make sure you know what your kids are watching? Don't be a shitty parent. And a small percentage of my followers are actually thinking individuals. The rest of them are usually robots and retards. And there's some of them that are just good old-fashioned clowns, you know. They're funny. But hey, where am I going with this? Let's get into it. Retirement by 30 is not a complicated thing. Now, you know, like retirement where? In America? You can't retire in America. Why? Because you have been raised to fail. You have been much like the line from the Marilyn Manson song, I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. Raised to be stupid, taught to be nothing at all. That is the fact of it. You have been raised to work yourself into an early grave, shitty food, shitty life, and effectively, it's a plan, and it's working well. The plan is working. Your plan was not for success. Your plan was for you to fail. How do you avoid this? Well, for one thing, when you're young, you should learn a trade or a skill. Get something as young as possible. When you're in high school, when you're in middle school, you should be working towards getting yourself to something better. And for people that don't understand what I mean by that is the idea that you waste 13 years of your life and you effectively get out of high school after 13 years of education, you're good enough to do what? Flip hamburgers, stock dollar store shelves? When you're still in school, you should be on that fast track to learn some sort of trade. Hell, even while it's still around, trucking. I often recommend trucking. There's one more reason. You make 80K to 100K per year driving that truck. And I know, oh, I don't like it. That's not sexy. That's not. Reality does not give a shit whether you're happy in your job. But if you make money, and trucking's one of the greater ones for it, because you've got a free apartment on wheels. 3 weeks of training, 3 weeks of a driver training, are off to the races. It's not complicated. Stay between the two lines. You got the dash line and solid line. I know this isn't a sexy topic for you because you dumb fucks. You need everything sugar-coated and bullshit. But the reality is, it's one of those jobs where you got free rent. Your commute is 3 feet. Here's another one. Cars. You don't live to live. You live to buy your car. You live to go out there and make money so you can purchase a car paying anywhere from $500 to $700, maybe $1,000 because you want to be cool. And you give away your youth, your prosperity, and everything that could have been something meaningful. And all for what? So you can go back to work. And let me give you the real numbers of what you pay for your car. Not just the payment, not just the insurance, not just the gas, but let's just say that commute to work. Because you're going to save a lot of money by living in the burbs. You'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, you're not. Because the money that you basically weren't making, let's say you make a paltry $25 an hour times 2 hours a day. Let's say it's only like 35 minutes to 45 minutes, but you got to make sure you're on time. So you're giving up an hour each way. That 8-hour day is not a 10-hour day, and you didn't get paid for those other 2 hours. In fact, you paid them to go to work, or you paid that much more for rent and the money you didn't get paid at work. So we're talking $50 a day times 5 days a week. That's $250 a week times take 2 weeks off for vacation. So then we figure, what, 50 weeks? What is that, 12,500? Something like that. Then factor in your car payments. We're getting up around 24 to 25, maybe $30,000 a year. Then we figure in your house payment. Mama wants a nice house because she's probably got her own SUV. Maybe she works, maybe she doesn't. Maybe you're the man carrying that entire Civiclean boulder on your back every fucking day. You're pushing that boulder up the hill, only having to roll over you. You know, between her car payment, your car payment, and the house. You got a house. Let's say it's a paltry $5 million for a brand new house in the burbs. That's very low, by the way, these days. At 6%, that's 30 grand the first year. You just poof lost to interest. So between 30 grand or more you lost in, car payment, lost wages and all that other crap, and then 30 grand for the house. What about your interest payments on your credit cards? What about that? Well, that ends up being a huge amount too. What percentage is that? Interest on your car loan? Like how much do you lose to taxes? You see, the hero's journey, when you do the minimalism thing, I don't care whether you're living with your family, you're living in a share room, you're doing van life, you're living in a truck. Like I can live off $200 to $300 a month. Guess what? I can make that even if I was, let's say I'm driving truck and I make 80 to 100K a year and I live off less than 5K a year. I take the rest of that money and invest it. I could literally just go to the side of the road in the right place and shake a sign, make $200 to $300 in a handful of hours. You understand that? I can live off next to nothing. Now, imagine most people won't want to do the van life thing. I understand that. It's not exactly a normal thing. I'm kind of an extremist when it comes to minimalism. But there are houses in America that are dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Where you can go out there and you can pick up a house for anywhere from $20, $30, $40,000. You can find every day of the week, for under $50,000, you can find a 2-bedroom. You can find 3 bedrooms for about that price. You go all over the Midwest, Texas. How do you find them? You get on Google Maps, look up a city, look up the name of the city, and look up real estate in that city. It can't be that easy. It is that easy. You look it up, and then if you see, it's just like a reconnaissance mission. Then you go out and all over the country, travel the country. You go out there and you see, do I like this place? Go do a little van lifing out there. Go do a little camping. See if you like the area. There's a guy, like if you're a fisherman or a hunter or hiker or gardener. Now, mind you, you're this the type of individual that gets these cheap houses. You've already done the hero's journey. You worked hard, lived as cheap as possible. You invested when you're young. Let's say you're making 10%, a paltry 10% on your investment. Some people say it's even more for the S&P these days. Well, effectively, if you do that for a handful of years, living as dirt cheap as possible, and you got $300,000-$400,000 making you money, and you're making anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, maybe even put in a little more, making $50,000 per year, and you're only living off a small percentage. In my case, 5K of that. Then effectively what happens is that you never need to go back to fucking work. It doesn't matter where you buy a house. Is the town comfortable? Do you like the local atmosphere? If you're religious, do they happen to have a church that happens to believe the same thing you believe? If you're any other religion, do they happen to have that around? If you're a fisherman, do they have a lake around you would like to visit? You get my point? You don't have to run on this fucking treadmill your whole goddamn life. You can pull it off before the age of 30. Go out when you're in high school, learn a trade, learn accounting, learn truck driving, learn all of those things. Shit, you might go out and learn accounting just for your own benefit. And then when you're a truck driver for X amount of years, because that won't be around forever. Let's be real about it. It's not going to be around forever. But then when you get done, maybe you already got a trade figured out. And you move to one of those states that actually has reciprocity for your plumbing license or something. And then on the side, if you are bored, you go out and you buy a house, you could remodel it yourself. Or, wild thought here, you could just do plumbing work seasonally. So you don't even need the money, but you're like, you know how good it feels when you don't need the money, but you just made 80 to 100K that year? And you're living off next to nothing? Now people say, well, how much does it cost to live once you got your house paid off? What if I don't want to live in a farm town? Okay, don't. You want to live in the city? You want to pay those high bills so you're closer to the action? By the action, you're homeless people shitting on the streets and junkie needles. Enjoy that shit. Not to say that the rural areas don't have some of those problems. But the reality is, you want to go do that. It's just like, hey man, you want to be the excuse from the black community, for instance. You don't understand. The CIA brought the crack in. Yeah, but who put it to their lips? If you want to go play the game, you want to roll the hamster wheel, you want to peacock and buy the cars, I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm telling you you're a fucking retard for doing it. Just like someone smoking crack. I'm not going to stop you from fucking up your life. I'm not going to save you from yourself. I'll give you the information and you can make the free choice whether to fuck up your life or not. Yeah, I'm an asshole, ain't I? But if I tell you, go out, get that trade, work hard, save, invest when you're young. Don't take out loans. Don't buy overpriced cars. Avoid new cars. Live as cheap as possible. Put as little miles on your vehicle as possible. That's part of the reason I always recommend OTR trucking. And it won't be around forever. Automation's going to put all us truckers out of work eventually. But there's still going to be need for plumbers, electricians. Hell, electricians, with this electrified future coming along. Going to be more and more need for them. Accountants. Shit, you're just doing yourself good by becoming an accountant. Point of it is, by the way, the accountant might be replaced by a program eventually too. I mean, it's just math. It's one thing you think it would be actually possible. Bot basically goes through and says, oh, you're able for this tax deduction, that tax deduction, blah, blah, blah. Point is, there's literally nothing stopping you from being successful in America other than yourself. And I've said this for years. And I know I've said it ad nauseum. But it's because for all the people that are screaming for socialism, we just need the government to take care of us. Hey, man, has the government made houses cheaper for you? Is healthcare cheaper since Obama got into the healthcare industry? Is inflation better? Is your life better because the government did something? I'm sorry, but like socialism sounds good. Maybe one day when the robots are doing all the work for us, we could have that nice conversation of socialism when the robots do all the work. But then the question will be, why the fuck would the powers that be keep around all you meat sacks if they don't need you? I mean, just really think about it. Ultimately, though, if you want to win the game, yeah, retirement by 30. Retirement by 30. Go out there, work hard, save your money, invest when you're young, let your money start making you money as young as possible. It's cheap housing all over the Midwest, Texas, the South, all over the place. You go and look up a town, go on Google Maps, look up the name of a town, then look up real estate in that area. There's cheap land you can buy out there. Make sure the state allows you to park an RV if you want to do that. This is not fucking complicated. The fact that you have complicated it so much for yourself, and generally, I'm going to be honest, old people hate when you know this knowledge. Rich people really hate it. And by the way, the one thing that'll hold you back, if you're a young man, chasing after pussy. You will burn more of your years of work. You will take the best years of your life and piss it away. I ain't saying don't get laid. I'm just saying, do not let a woman be the reason. Don't pay no woman's bills. She's a free individual. She can pay them herself. Do not be a slave to a piece of ass. And that pisses off a lot of people. Ooh, what about the demographic, having kids and all that? Well, why don't you make it a world where you don't screw over a man for doing the right thing? Fix that problem first, and then we'll talk about coming back to that table. But if you want to be retired younger, and it doesn't have to be just at 30, say you were a fuck up for a number of years, and you decide, hey, I'm going to get my shit together. You can start anytime you want. 7 to 10 years is all it takes in America. And proof of that? How many of those boomers back in the day got divorced 1, 2, maybe 3 times? They lost their assets over and over again. And mind you, they did have an easier world to live in. But then they got serious about their retirement somewhere in their 40s, maybe 50s. And somehow they were living just fine. Gen X has done it too. And the millennials that had their head out of their ass could pull it off. So you Zoomers, yes, you have a harder road because of the damage that was done in the past by the previous generations. But if you were born in America, if you're an American citizen in some way, some fashion, understand you are fucking lucky. And you can actually pull it off by the age of 30. Best thing you can do, sum it up, when you're sitting there in school, you look for a trade when you're in middle school. You look for a trade when you're in high school. You look to be ready to fucking rock and roll and kick ass. Because when all your fool-ass friends are out doing stupid shit, you're already years ahead of the game. I've just told you in a handful of minutes how to win. And I didn't charge you a damn cent for it. Retirement by 30. Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Take it easy. Oh, by the way, watch this video if it gets uploaded at 1.75. Just saying. Peace.